I have encouraged David not to overproduce this. And so you all have to help keep him in check of not, trying to go way too over the top.
What is this? I don't remember getting anything.
What's this?
I didn't order anything from Amazon.
I don't remember ordering anything.
Dad, you have a package.
Let's see what we've got.
I wonder what I got in the mail today.
Ooh, what is it? Car parts?
I'm expecting a package today.
Huh.
What is this?
Who are you?
I'm Mike Lettingham.
It's not car parts.
Roar.
Yeah. What are you here for?
I'm here to help. Maynard, holler at me if you need me.
It talks? Ooh, yikes.
Huh. Excellent. It's the best thing ever.
I'm Mike. I'm here to help.
Okay, I get that.
I'm here to help.
What can you help me with first?
I'm here to help.
You want to see the system catalog? We've got some really cool graphics. Cool update.
I'm here to help.
I think it's
Help. Chicken.
Sharon must have ordered a toy for Ghost.
I'm Mike. Good dog.
Hey, I'm Steve Rourke. I'm a project manager here at KDE, working in the Office of Education Technology.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Devon, and I am a project manager with OET.
Hi, my name is Bob Minner. I'm a project manager with OET.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Hill, project manager for OET.
Hi, I'm Patrick Wolford. I'm a project manager. I've been with OET for about a year and a half.
I'm David Smith. I'm the project officer with OET, and I've been with the office for 13 years.
I'm Mike Lettingham. I'm here to help.
There he is. You got your little Mikey.
I'm Mike Lettingham.
Had to get him in the right position to be seen.
I'm here to help.
My little Mikey evidently is somewhere in Puerto Rico. I don't know how that happened.
When I first opened it, I thought, who sent me a Christmas decoration? When I first opened it, that was the first thing I thought of. I have to say, though, it's nice having instant access to Mike.
I'm here to help.
Easy to get the charter signed.
Consider it approved.
All mine does is tell me to schedule a meeting.
Schedule a meeting.
I can't find mine right now. I think you must be out there still chasing the chickens.
Chicken.
I caught mine in the fridge. Can it, even eat? And shouldn't it be wearing a mask? Who knows if this thing's even been vaccinated?
No worries.
I don't like people looking over my shoulder all the time, even stuffed ones. I know what I'm doing.
I'm here to help.
Okay, well, with this presentation, I kind of want to go through the life cycle of a project, and so we can tell people what PMs do at any given phase of a project. Generally, a project is entered into CoPilot. There's a tech request page. What I do want people to know, though, is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a technology project that we will project manage. There's a team of people that meet every 2 weeks. We're the forecasting team. I'm there, Amy Young, Martin Herbner, Rebecca Bright, Brian McHugh, Linda Burton, They're all involved. We look over all the new tech requests that come in, see if there's any additional information that's needed that, before we kind of push it along its way. And if it looks good, as the project manager team lead, I'll assign a project manager. Martin, as the Steve's team lead, he will assign a tech lead on the project. And then I'll contact one of you and say, hey, here's your new project. And then you get together with the executive sponsor and finish forming out the team and start the charter.
Well, during the initiation, you'll get together with your executive sponsor, any other team members that have been identified to work on the project. You'll discuss the project of, how it's going to go, what the actual goals of the project are, and you'll get all that documented, and, you write it down and get the sign off by the executive leadership that's sponsoring it so that everybody agrees to what's going to be done, when it's going to be done, and how it should be done.
Probably should mention the kickoff meeting. I usually do kickoff meetings with during the initiation. We get the project sponsor and everyone who's been identified as the core team member, part of that project, and we walk through the charter with the team, talk about what the scope is, some of the risks that we've identified before the project starts, some high-level deliverables with a high-level schedule. And we talk about kind of what our next steps are, or how we're going to communicate, and the meetings that we're going to set up, and that type of thing.
Don't forget that I need to sign that charter.
Planning starts with the charter and then really never ends. You get to the point where you've got a plan that and dates and timelines that are pretty firm, but in reality, it's a never-ending process because dates change and tasks change and dependencies change, and so the whole thing about planning is it's not a one and done. It's going thing through the whole project and connecting all the dots everywhere all the time. So, budget, path, issues, questions, paperwork, everything. So one time I heard a guy describe it as chief cook and bottle washer. I kind of like that. If you don't understand what a project manager does, just think of it in Waffle House speak as chief cook and bottle washer, which means you have to do a lot and you have to do things that you might think are PM related and important, and other things that aren't so important, but you kind of at the end of the day are accountable for all of it.
The other piece of that planning part too is the change management plan, because sometimes you'll start down, you think you have the scope nailed down, and you'll start down the path and you'll realize that you should have included something, or it makes sense to include something else in. So I always try to put together a change management process to identify how that impacts either the scope, the schedule, or the budget.
Planning is just all encompassing. So, some people may think that, well, you get some high-level milestones in a charter, your planning is done. It's not.
I totally agree with that. I know the planning phase for me is, looking at what the goal date is and walking backwards from there.
For any time that we have implementation with the school districts and they're going to have a internet outage, we have to put in a change request with the CAP.
Well, we need a change advisory board because you can't just roll out new applications into the environment without knowing what impact they may have on other applications that's out there. You could put something out that could take down the network. It could break another application. So those changes get submitted to a board. They're reviewed as to what changes are going to be made on the network and how they may interact with other applications so that they don't break something else or take something down when it's critical.
So our next phase is project implementation. Project implementation phase is executing the project. For example, with a current project that I have with AT&T on the MRS routers, which is a device that each of the districts have to have in order to get internet into their district. With the global pandemic, There is a supply issue right now. So I work with AT&T to make sure they've got the local contact information and site address. In addition to that, I work with the KEs in each of the regions and their district contact person and our network resources, Jamie and Danny, and AT&T, and me and Tim. So I have to look at everybody's, I have to work with everybody to schedule a time that works for all of those players so that we can all be on call for when the implementation actually takes place, the installation of the device. So it's juggling a lot of people's calendars. Once AT&T obtains the devices, they have to configure them to the district specifications. And then once we install the device, there will be testing that goes on. AT&T will test to validate that the device works as it should. The district will run some tests to make sure that they can access their most important websites and applications. And then our network resources will run a test. And all of this is done to make sure that all the functionality has been restored.
What a lot of people maybe don't appreciate about being a project manager is every time we go in to manage a project, not every time, but most times, it's a new subject matter for us as project managers. So we're the new person coming into the mix. And so if a project manager hasn't worked with all the web authors before, for example, the KE website, that's a whole new group of people to get to know and relationships to build.
It is a new mix a lot of times, but a lot of you tend to gravitate towards certain types of projects. And I don't know, sometimes I guess it's luck of the draw. Some of it's just certain people work well with other people.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I've worked with, like facilities. I'm on the tenant board meetings with those. So, I know all of those players in there and the process of getting, changes made to the building.
I do a lot with Ken, everything K through 12 internet with Tim as the product manager on most stuff. Mentioning RFPs, for people who don't know, that's the request for proposal. And it's a document where we're asking vendors to submit a bid to us so we can offer that contract to our districts and KDE, the agency.
You have to be on a list, right, to even do work for the state.
For those services and commodities that are awarded, there is a list of vendors who have been awarded a contract, and then the districts know who they can purchase from.
I have an RFP that's dragging because we're waiting, and I just want to close it, but we have to wait for one last vendor.
Closure of a project is when you sit down with your project sponsor after all the other work has been completed. You review all the tasks and ensure that everything has been completed to their satisfaction. And once that has been done, then the sponsor will then give you permission to close out the project.
Well, hopefully you've been working on a service plan all the way through your project, and you're just putting the final touches on it at the end. But that's one thing that has to be completed before we close out a project. The system catalog entry, it may be a new entry, or it may be something that needs to be updated in the system catalog. Do what I call a post-project review with my teams. And we will do a lessons learned. We'll talk about what went well, what didn't go so well. We'll talk about whether we've learned anything that could be applied to something that we know that's coming up on the horizon. So we walk through all of those steps, and once the sponsor has signed off on that, we've completed the service plan and the system catalog, then it's ready to close. And that's when you get the emails from me, David, that say, we're ready to close this one.
It takes forever to happen. And just when you think you can close and you go to and say, I'm ready to close it, he'll say, let's give it a couple more weeks, just in case.
Schedule a meeting.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
Bye, guys. It's been real.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Oh, Patrick.
I hope your air conditioner gets fixed.
At some point. See you guys.
Bye.
Holler at me if you need me.
is a temporary endeavor with a predetermined beginning and ending.
Sizemore, this is a different video. What exactly is it that you do?
Okay. Well, I'm the program manager for all KEN initiatives.
What is that?
KEN is the Kentucky Education Network. And Kentucky was the first state to have all K-12 schools connected to the internet.
Interesting.
Another important aspect of my job as program manager for KEN is to act as a product manager for KEN initiatives where there is either a new service or a major enhancement of an existing service. A good example of this is the KEN firewall service. It was an existing service that was modified to fit our current and future needs.
Good dog.